This is Bobby C. out at Yankee Stadium, and we begin your look at sports with the Bronx Bombers making their final push for the postseason. The Pinstripers have played tremendous baseball on the homestand, but dropped the series finale against the Tampa Rays on Thursday night, 9-6. They did hit 4 home runs on the evening, but the story of the night was starting pitcher Sonny Gray, who was staked out to a 4-1 lead, and then everything just came undone in a 7-run 5th inning.
When you're constantly giving guys free passes and then it's 1 or 2 plays and then a big home run, and it kind of just turns everything around, and like I said, it just kind of caught up with me in the 5th.
Despite Thursday night's loss to the Rays, the Yankees clinched a postseason berth this week at home. The Yankee playoff push has been anchored by rookie phenom Aaron Judge, who passed Mark McGwire for the rookie season record of 49. Judge tonight hits number 51. He hit 50 earlier this week, and the Yankees are bound for the postseason. Chances of the Yankees winning the American League East are remote. That magic number is down to 1 with 3 games remaining. The scores on the out-of-town scoreboard last night were encouraging. The Houston Astros were beating the Boston Red Sox while the Yankees had a 3-run lead after 4 innings. It looked like they might move to 2 games behind Boston, but then Gray imploded. He would not last through the 5th as he and Jonathan Holder would combine to give up 7 runs in the inning. Of more concern, honestly, was the play of backstop Gary Sanchez with 1 out and runners on the corners. Sanchez couldn't corral a Gray wild pitch and allowed it to get far enough from him to score the runner from third. He better be on his A game in the playoffs, or his play behind the plate could be costly for the Bombers. Manager Joe Girardi may need to consider him at designated hitter in the postseason. The Yanks are better defensively with Austin Romine behind the plate. Across town, the Mets are playing out the string and, of course, will miss the postseason. Mets owner Fred Wilpon repeatedly protected manager Terry Collins, according to reports, even as his son, Chief Operating Officer Jeff Wilpon, and General Manager Sandy Alderson sought the manager's dismissal at various points during his tenure. Collins said this week he has no desire to retire. I would think he would return, but from the sounds of the inner turmoil inside the organization, it's not clear. If he's out, former Met Joe McEwing sounds like a possible replacement. One thing is clear, the New York Giants are 0-3. No matter how you slice it, I was right about the Jets last week on the show, but not right about the Giants. More on that in a moment. But as close as the G-men came when push came to shove, it wasn't enough. Rookie Jake Elliott kicked a 61-yard field goal as the clock expired to lift the Philadelphia Eagles to a 27-24 victory over the Giants on Sunday. A heartbreaking loss for Big Blue that included another meltdown from the highly talented Odell Beckham Jr. This time, OBJ used a TD celebration to mimic peeing like a dog in the end zone. He has since been fined by the NFL. Beckham would later say that his actions were motivated by President Donald Trump and his critical comments of the National Football League regarding players and national anthem protests. The president was so critical last week, the entire league seemed to band together Sunday, either locking arms as teams, something the Jets would do as an entire outfit, including front office members, or all but one member of the Pittsburgh Steelers, even hitting the field to stand for the anthem. Gang Green was so pumped for their home opener, they destroyed the Miami Dolphins 26. Here's more from the vocal Jets, including some commentary about the state of the USA today.
We were 0-1 in division, and to come out here against a great Miami team, great defensive front, great linebackers, a secondary, to get a win like that, it was phenomenal. And the coaches did a great job coaching, and the players did a great job playing. So it was all around great win. And special teams, first of all, did a great job. You know, we always harp on talking about getting turnovers, and this week, you know, they tried to pull a fake when we were up, 20-0, and we ended up getting a turnover, which was huge.
It's always good when you come out the field and you're healthy, but to go out there and get a win, you know, it's big. It's hard to win in this league, and we were able to go out there and execute today and put on tape what type of team we can be. And, you know, it's good to get a win. We got to do it again this week.
And a different mindset that we was going to dominate and that we wasn't going to let nothing get in the way, you know. It's the NFL is going to be good players every single week lined up on the other side of you, but we had a mindset and we had a, you know, not going to let nothing stop us.
Unity. That's what it's about. Us locking arms was about unity. And, you know, we had a captain come up to the team beforehand and speak about that. And that was our mindset. That's what we wanted to do when we came out for the national anthem. And I'm just happy that everybody locked as one. And it showed on the field. It showed how we came out and played.
You know, you look in this locker room, it's people from all different backgrounds, you know, all different creeds, all different cultures, but we able to come together and lock arms and say whatever the problem is, we want to face this thing head on, we're going to face it together, you know, and that's what it's going to take. That's what we stand for in this locker room.
The Jets will host Jacksonville Sunday at 1 p.m. The Jags are 2-1. The Jets are 1-2. I'll take the Jets for the second straight week. The Giants are in Tampa for the Bucs. That's a 4:05 p.m. kickoff. The Giants have to win sometime, right? I'll take the Giants again this week to save their season. But let's be clear, it's pretty much impossible to come back from an 0-4 start. They need a victory in the worst way. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. College basketball has been rocked by scandal. The FBI announced Tuesday that 10 people, including 4 college basketball assistant coaches, were arrested as part of a 2-year investigation into bribes and other corruption in the sport. Assistant coaches from Arizona, Auburn, Louisville, Miami, Oklahoma State, and USC were implicated in the investigation. And on Wednesday, Louisville announced that longtime basketball coach Rick Pitino has been placed on administrative leave. The fallout from this appears to be of epic proportions. After scoring the 3rd largest gate in boxing history, Canelo Alvarez wants a rematch with Triple G. I said it on the show last time around. Expect to see it. Money talks. The NHL preseason is back, and the league is on the heels of returning for the games that matter most, the ones that count, of course. Pittsburgh star Sidney Crosby said nobody gives you anything when asked about the Pens' push for another title. Here in the Big Apple, expect some better returns for the Islanders and the Devils, and possibly another run for the Rangers now that their defense has been remade just a bit. The NBA preseason is less than a week away. The Brooklyn Nets and New York Knicks kickstart things here in the Big Apple on October 3rd. Media day for the two teams was this past Monday. The Knicks said goodbye to Carmelo Anthony in a trade with OKC that now pairs Melo with Russell Westbrook and Paul George. Dwayne Wade parted ways with Chicago and is now bound for a reunion with LeBron James in Cleveland. He inked a 1-year deal and then later remarked that he would like to return to Miami before it's all said and done. No loyalty these days in pro sports, folks. So much for Giancarlo Stanton slowing down on his march to 60 home runs. The Miami Marlins slugger went back to his baseball slaughtering ways on Thursday night with 2 towering shots at Marlins Park. Stanton now has 59 home runs on the season. We mentioned Judge earlier when the rookie nailed number 51. It followed Brett Gardner's leadoff homer. When Judge finished his way around the bases and into the dugout, the Yankees' budding tradition of the fake interview with utility man Ronald Torreyes working the fake camera, while Luis Severino, Didi Gregorius, and Miguel Andujar conducted the interview. The Yanks have been clever with the thumbs down and now the mock interviews in the dugout. Former Florida Gators great Tim Tebow is headed to the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, part of a class that includes Chipper Jones and Warrick Dunn. And no, it's not for either his NFL or minor league baseball careers. It's for his success as a former Heisman winner for the Gators. And on a final sports roundup note, former Jets great Kevin Mawae will be inducted into the team's Ring of Honor on Sunday at MetLife Stadium. He will be honored at halftime before the game. About 75 former Jets will be introduced to the crowd. At that time, Joe Namath, Don Maynard, and Curtis Martin will receive rings of excellence as members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Our Bronx Net cameras will have more from the ceremony and a recap of the game next time on the show. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a survey of Americans and their reaction to the recent state of sports when it comes to national anthem protests. One week after the president criticized NFL players for protesting during the national anthem, Americans say they are paying close attention to the story. America is divided both literally and figuratively. Results from a nationwide online survey of 1,055 adults 18 and over conducted by Global Strategy Group for ESPN proves this. The sampling is representative of country demographics including gender, race, geographic location, and political affiliation. The survey included both sports fans and non-sports fans and was conducted from September 26th through the 28th. The margin of error for a survey of this sample size is plus or minus 3%. Per ESPN, asked if they approve or disapprove of the recent NFL player protests, 51% said they either somewhat or strongly disapprove, compared compared to 39% who did approve. When broken down by race, 72% of African American respondents either strongly approved or somewhat approved of the protests, while 62% of whites either somewhat disapproved or strongly disapproved. Survey respondents that identified themselves as avid NFL fans were split almost evenly on the protest, with 48% strongly or somewhat approving and 47% strongly or somewhat disapproving. People were also split on whether the protests will affect their interest in the NFL. Among all respondents, 14% were more interested and 40% were less interested, with 43% saying the protests had no impact on their interest at all. Among avid NFL fans, 48% said their interest is not impacted, but 31% said they were less interested in the league because of the protests. 19% said they were more interested after all. Don't expect this story to go anywhere. In fact, you will see more protests from other sports, including the NHL, the NBA, and Major League Baseball. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.